Good evening. This is the voice. It is 2/8/2010, 6:13 p.m. on a Monday. I told you I would be back. Let's talk about something that is a touchy subject with a alcoholic and a drug addict. I want to tell you a little story that is funny and then not so funny, but it is a true story. It is actually about myself, but a lot of people fall in the same category. So I will only speak for me and what it did to me and how it reacted and how I reacted to it. I remember I was about 14 or 15. I lived in a neighborhood in Chicago. It was not so bad then. At least I did not think so. So what happened was the reason I started to drink. Let's get it right. I was hanging with some friends. Well, not so much friends, just people I knew. I went around on the next street. So they were hanging around talking. And all of a sudden, one of them had a bottle in his hand. So I asked them, I said, hey, what is this? He said, oh, this is some wine. Do you want some? Me being a kid, not educated, no one ever told me not to drink. So I thought this was the right thing to do. So I took the bottle and I took a drink. And it felt kind of good after a while. It warmed my stomach. So as the day went on, I drank a little more. Then I began to feel a little funny. I guess I was getting high. So time went on. We would speed up this picture to after about 6 months. I would go out with them at the young age. And the fellas would stand on the corner in the back of the alley in the store, behind the store, and in the store too. They would get the wine and bring it into the alley. And I would watch them pass the bottle around. It would only be one bottle of wine passed around amongst 5 or 6 of us. We would get a swallow or two. But what this meant was we had to hustle up on more change to get more drink so that we could get high. I did not go to school. I was hanging in the alley, so I could not go to school if I'm hanging in the alley. So I am drinking wine with the fellas. They are older than I. They are not doing nothing with their lives. But at this time, I did not know this. I was just young and dumb, inexperienced, did not know nothing. No one taught me anything. There were many of us in my family. So I would go up to the store where all of the guys would hang in the alley and I would drink with them. Then I would get drunk. And then some more time passed by. I had become a good drinker. I could drink the wine with the best of them. To drink a fifth, it was just like a cup of Kool-Aid. I would get real high and would go out to the club or the party. And then I would, at the age of 16, 2 years had went by. I was a good drinker by then. But I don't think the drink was enough. So I started to smoke the cigarette. I smoked the cigarette and I drank the wine. Then someone gave me some hard liquor. We called it Seagram 7 at the time. I drank it and it burnt, but I drank it anyway. After a while I was really high and I began to act stupid. I would say things and do things to my friends. I would want to fight. I was very dumb. I had no respect, no manners. But I did not care. I just wanted to drink the wine and the hoochie whiskey. Then when I got drunk, I wanted to go out to the club. Then we would get into fights. There was not much to do because my brain was burnt up by the alcohol and I did not know it, and the lack of education. But I did not think of these things when I was drinking. Then I can remember a couple of more years going by. I was still drinking the wine and the whiskey and smoking the cigarettes. Then someone came along with a joint, which is marijuana, and I said, hey, I will try it. It made me feel good. I got very high. Must have been some good. So I began to smoke and drink to mix it all up. Then the fights kind of calmed down because the weed would have me all drugged out and I would want to eat all the time. I still was not going to school. I was not doing much with my life except hanging out on the corners, trying to chase the girls. I did not have a meaningful adulthood or childhood at that time. The wine and the liquor and the weed clouded my thoughts and my vision, which I did not have much of because I was not that educated. So my brain span was short. So it is really hard for someone like me. So I struggled. And then a couple of more years went by. I did some things that were positive, but I did more things that were negative because of the drinking and the smoking. And then one day I graduated from the weed. I had some friends and I was chasing the women. I liked the woman. We were in her house. She had some white powder on the table. I did not know what it was. She was so pretty. And then she liked it me. So I did not care about the white powder. I only wanted to get to her. So she asked me, she said, oh, do you want to try this? Have you ever tried it before? I said, no, what is it? She said, oh, it will make you feel good. So she kissed me, and everything almost went blank. I was already drinking and smoking the weed, so it was not hard for me to do the powder. So I sniffed it up my nose, and the next thing I know, she said, this is cocaine. Then I knew I had become a very big addict, but not at that time. It was all fun to me because my brain was not developed. I was not that well educated. So what did I do? I fell into the trap like everyone else. I just wanted to get high and chase the women and have a good time and look nice for the women so that they would want me. And I thought that getting high and smoking weed and doing coke was the right thing to do. What a waste of my stupid brain. But this is what I thought at the time was the right thing to do. So then it really got really bad. More years went by. I can say I was 24. I was with the girl that I liked very much. So one day I had a friend who I thought was a friend. He was much older than me. He would come out of the bathroom, his eyes would be closed. He would not be talking to me, he would just sit down at the table and scratch. So I say, hey man, what is wrong? He would say, I am so high. So one day I get curious. I asked him, I say, hey, what is that stuff you have on the table? He says, man, you do not want to master this. This is bad for you. But by then, my brain was burned from the weed and the liquor and the cocaine that I was sniffing. So he told me, I said, what is that you have in your hand? It was a syringe. It was not hard for me to put it in my arm. Then I knew that my life was over, but not at that time because I was not educated and I was dumb. I just tried to kill myself over and over and over, year after year. I destroyed my life for many, many years after this. I was up into my age before I grew up and I got educated in the mind. Not so much from the school, but from the wiseness of being alive for such a long period of time and learning the things that I need to learn. Knowing all the time I knew right from wrong, but I never chose the right, I always chose the wrong. So then I got smart. I met someone. I fell in love. But I still did the wrong things. I still did the drugs. I still was killing myself. I did not really care deep down inside whether or not I was hurting someone. I do not even think that I was aware that I was hurting someone. I only thought that I was hurting myself. And then I would tell myself, hey, I don't care. Who gives a crap? This is my body. I am a grown man. No one will tell me what to do. Oh, but I was so wrong. But to make it short, and I will come back and touch on this again, what made me leave the drugs alone was not the rehab, was not anything anyone in particular said to me. It was the strongest thing that I think that's around. It is called love. I looked at my wife. I thought about my children, which I had done many, many times before, but I never quit. I never stopped. I keep on going top speed. But on this particular day, I took a look in the mirror and I said to myself, she loves me, my children love me. So I did not make any more excuses. I did not badger myself. I simply balled up the cigarette pack and I quit the smoking of the cigarette. But I was still sick with the other stuff. Then about 6 months later, I quit drinking the wine and the liquor. I had become stronger. Then the final test came. I had to leave the hard drug alone because I was still doing the cocaine, not the heroin. I was doing the crack, and it almost broke me back. So I told myself, I looked in the mirror. I said, no, I will not do this again. On that day, I simply stopped. I tell myself, you are smart. You know what is right, what is wrong. Do you want to die? I tell myself, no. But many things went along. This is only part of it. This is not even scratching the surface. There are so many deep secrets and deep dark things that I did to myself when I was on the bad drugs. But to just make a long story short, is that anyone can be their own master. Do not be your own slave. Because that is what I was. I was a slave to myself. When I realized that I was my own master, my life turned around. Now I am very strong. So if the shoe fit, please wear it. Do the right thing, become the master. I will talk to you later about this. Goodbye for today.